Hello guys, I'm back again. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how I create my junk journals. Sorry, excuse me. Someone requested on YouTube if I can do a tutorial from start to finish on how I put them together. Her name is Climmie Silva. I think that's her name. I don't know. But that's the name. Hopefully you guys can see it. Anyways, so I usually use, I don't see them. Oh, there they go. Pull everything out to be ready, and I usually like using these. They're 10 by 13s because it gives me space for my pockets. So I have this one laying around just outside, so here we go. So I don't make a long video. And then these I get at my dollar store. Darn it. And therefore for $1. They're the clasp envelopes. So put that there. So what I do first is I remove this thing out of here. Sometimes it comes out easy. You're just pulling it. And then the other side. And usually it comes out, you know, pretty easy. And then I remove this little thingy here. I hope I'm in frame, guys. Let me check real quick. Yeah. Okay, good. So then I just take this little thingy off because to me it creates bulk, which I don't need. And then my next step is to enforce this flap and just furnish it really well. So then after I do that, I decide what size I want of a journal. I usually do 5.5 by 8, 6 by 8, sometimes 5.25 by 8. It depends. Those are usually my common journal sizes. So for this tutorial, I'm going to do a 5.5. And also you need to decide whether you want a spine or not. There's some books, like for example this one that I did, I don't have a spine, it's just gonna have one signature. Or you could do a little spine like this one, and this is 1/2 inch that I left because I want to add 2 signatures. And this one will measure 5.5 by 8. So I'm going to do one of these. Excuse me. So then, actually, because I'm going to do the spine, well, first you decide if you want this useful. I'm going to seal it. I don't want to use it, but I'm going to seal it later. So for now, my first score is going to be 5.5. And I got to press really good, because since it's 2 pages, sometimes it's harder and it makes my bone folder move. So then for the spine, we're going to leave 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score now at 6. So the first score was 5.5. The next one is 6. Jesus. So then I'm going to go and go to the 6 and reinforce that real quick because I need to do another score. And this envelope's kind of big, so I'm going to put it in here. So now my next score, it's going to be at 5.5. And I usually do it at least 2 times because, like I said, it's 2 pages you're scoring. So then after you have that, you're going to flip it around. Let me do this side first. And you're going to decide Well, first of all, you may want this pocket in the front. I know I want it in the back if I should leave it. So that's going to go in the back. So this is my front. So as I put it here, you decide what's the how long you want it. I usually do a 8. And because this board only goes to 12 inches and this envelope is 14, I don't do it all the way. So I flip it over and then I do it again. And yeah, it's the opposite, but it still works. There you have it. So now we can put this scoreboard away for now. So now you're going to go and enforce all your score lines. So I already did one, I just gotta do the other one. My husband always has to put that TV so loud. Give me a second, you guys. It's okay. Sorry guys, but I think my husband's deaf. Every time he watches TV, he blasts the volume. And I tell him I'm videotaping, but I guess he forgets. He got problems. Anyways, so okay, once we have this, then we're going to decide what we want to do. Do we want this pocket here? Do we want this side here, pocket? Or do we take this off and do pockets here? That's, you decide. For me, for this tutorial, I've decided that I'm going to leave this pocket here. And I'm going to close this. And for this side, I'm going to leave this pocket on the side. And then remove this. So, I'm going to use my scissors real quick. And this is what I'm going to do. From the score line, I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch. Because that's going to serve as my little hinge. And then go back to the score line. And so right now what I'm going to do is use my scoreboard to cut from here to the second score line. Actually, I'm going to cut here first. You can use your scissors, you can use your cutting board. I usually use the cutting board because I'm, sometimes I don't cut very straight. So, yeah, I have problems, I guess. So, what I'm going to do now is bring this down to measure it. I think right there. I'm only going to cut it through there because I have this thing here and I don't want to mess it up. So, get the scissors again. And I'm going to be honest, when I was asked to do this tutorial, I hesitated because I'm a thinker. I sometimes, will do fast, work fast, and sometimes I think too much and it just, I think too much. I change my mind too much. It depends on, as I'm going, things pop up in my head and next thing you know, I'm doing something else than what I had originally planned. Decoration wise, that's another main thing that I do too. Not to mention I work, in different times of the day because I have two excuse me, 2 young kids, it's very hard. You can't just sit there and say, I'm going to decorate today, I'm going to work today. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But anyways, okay. Forgot to cut one more thing. Here, I'm going to cut a little bit at an angle, just so it doesn't snug to the scoring. And actually, I'm going to leave another 1/4 inch right here. And this is again going to serve as my little hinge. And I'm just going to, I don't know if you guys can see that. But I'm cutting the ends here. I will add a little hinge. Here, since I left one, I usually cut it a little bit at an angle. I'm not sure what that's called. But just so when you insert papers and you don't see the edge. Anyways, hopefully I'm making sense, guys. So then now we're ready. But here's another thing that I have. I usually use, you know, to enforce the spine, I usually use these envelopes that I get from the post office. I always forget the name of what they're called, but it's that sturdy material that you can't tear. I thought I had some, but I guess I don't because I can't find any. So I need to go visit the post office. But for now, I'm going to use this kind of tape. And it's, shipping clear tape. I've seen it used before in other tutorials and I tried it and it works good. So I'm going to do that here. But I usually go for the other, you know, material for that. And I'm just going to cut a piece, kind of estimate my size there of what I'll need. And the challenging part, it's getting in there to put this tape in. You can put it on here too as well. But for some reason I like it on the inside. It's just tugged in there. So we're gonna see how this goes. So from here, hopefully I'm in frame, guys. But if I'm not, I'm just putting that tape. And it's a little struggle, but we got it. So then I just press real good. Now this, I got this at Tuesday morning. It's an adhesive, but it was for, I think this is the one that's for fabric. But anyways, it's a fine line, clear glue. But what I did is, I like to use tacky glue, but this one is so, you know, the hole is so big, sometimes you need a little bit and you get a lot. And this is heavy, I have carpal tunnel, so my hands will hurt after a while. So this helps. This one makes it a fine line and it's not that hard to press for the glue to come out. So I like this thing. You know, especially if you're trying to get in the edge of the pages when you're gluing them down, the papers. You know, it works good. Anyway, so then your next move would be to glue this down. So then, once we have this, well, we gotta come over here and we still have this opening here. So what I'm gonna do is glue it down. And I'm just gonna put a thin layer, well, not thin, but some glue to seal it. So there we have it. So this is our journal so far. So now when we're in this point, we go ahead and distress it. I'm going to try to distress it real quick. Okay, I'm going to use this to distress. Sorry. I just, whatever's around, I get. Oh, wrong one. I'm going to use a walnut stain only because it's darker, and the darker the better for me. Move a little bit of things out of the way. So then I'm just going to go ahead and distress. Which, you know, this takes time. But for video purposes, maybe I should stop. I did, where'd it go? I had gone ahead and did a, where did it go? I went ahead and did a journal already to like go. And I have to sit here and distress that in front of you guys. Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. And I did. This was already distressed. But I accidentally, I was going to leave this tuck here. Well, I ended up cutting it off. But it, you know, but it's still cool. But I did leave the flap on the side. And there's my spine. And I wanted to, this one, I want to do a sewing thing. So once you're in this section and you're done with your distressing, then you add your paper. So here I already added my paper. Put this aside. You guys don't want to see me distress anyways. Excuse me. I've been fine all day. I get on the computer, on the camera, and now I'm coughing away. Lord. But anyways, you put your nice paper, whatever you decide. Like I said, I'm going to do a sewing theme. So I went ahead and used this paper. So now, when you're here, at this point, I go ahead and Mod Podge the outside. Just to make it nice and, so it won't get dirty, first of all. So it could be, whatchamacallit, sturdy. And, but actually, yeah, you know what, let me put the paper inside so you can see how the inside's done, and then I'll leave that for later. So now I'm going to choose my paper for the inside. And I think I'm going to use polka dots. So because I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, mat these down. So I'm here to here. Nope, wrong one back. Then from here, to there. Okay, so cut that off. Make sure I have it straight. So then this one will go here. This one will go here. And I always measure just to make sure I didn't mess up. So, grab my walnut stain, and I just do the edges only because I don't want to show any white. And this one. My kids are playing outside with hubby, so hopefully he keeps them occupied so they don't come knocking at the door. Excuse me. I gotta take advantage whenever I can to do this. I actually started doing it yesterday, but of course my son woke up and he didn't wake up in a good mood, and hubby doesn't have the same patience as I do. Sometimes I think I don't have any, but no. My husband has no patience. So yeah, I had to take over the kid. But no, that's how it is. Oops, that's how it is when you have young children. You have to find the time. So then, good thing about wet glue is, you know, you have the option of moving your paper around when you put it down versus tape. Double-sided tape, you can't. And then sometimes you pull it up and it works, but sometimes it ends up tearing your paper, and so that's why I kind of like the wet glue. And again, I think it's like sturdier, stronger. I don't know. Make sure those letters are facing up. So there we go. So once you do this, you can go ahead and close this down. But I need to do my little hinge here. Actually, I need to put a little bit of glue here. It looks like the flap didn't close all the way. I want to make sure it doesn't interfere when I tuck paper in there. So what I'm going to do is grab, and of course I don't have any around me. Let me show you, wait a minute. I have some here. Yeah. See, this one didn't print out too well. I'm going to use this as cardstock. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip. Sure, I'm in frame, guys. I'm going to cut about 3/4. Like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. Just so you could, you know, create your little hinge. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to show. So then you just want to measure it. And then you grab your scissors and then you cut at a, oops, this way, you cut at an angle. And this is what you have. This is my little hinge. So then you get your distressor, and I'm going to distress the end in case it shows, and then the side here just in case it shows as well. So then you get your glue, and you put the glue on one side. And you put it right to the edge. Ah, moved. Just hold it for a few seconds. Tacky glue dries very fast. That's a good part. So then now we're going to add glue to this other side. And we're also going to put glue on this one. Oh shoot, I forgot to glue this piece. So then on this side, and now we're going to close our little flap. I'm going to hold it down for a little bit. I have dirty nails, dirty hands, so sorry guys. But I coffee dyed some paper today because I did a couple of covers and I only had enough paper for 2 books, so I need it for this one and 2 more that I'm going to work on. Well, I already did my covers on. Okay, so there we have it. That's our cover. So now, oh, I forgot to cut here at an angle. See, this is what I was talking about. You could see it. I don't like to see it. Just put these for a few, just to hold it for me. There, so I'm gonna, well, from this point now, you have to do your Mod Podge. I usually, for the covers, I usually use this one. And it's the glossy one. I sometimes use this one, but this one has the shine, but not as shiny as this one. So, but it's, you know, make sure your paper will be protected, won't get dirty, and, you know, it'll seal nicely. So that's what I have to do next. And if I can remember where I put that paper, I don't see it. Well, anyways, we'll use it. I have these white boards. I'll just use one of those. I don't know. I had a sheet from last night that I used, that I sealed a couple of books. I don't know what I did to it. I thought I saved it, but I guess I didn't. I'll find it later. It always happens. Anyway, so I have a brush here already with water that I use, but let me show you real quick, guys. When I was telling you guys about your decisions on the pocket, this book's going to be like this. So the tuck's going to be on the side, nothing in the back. Here's a book that I already did. And see, I already Mod Podged it. And this one has no spine. Just, and I did a pocket here and a pocket here on this one. It just, you know, it depends on whatever mood I'm in to do the books. Then I have this one here. And this one's a different size. This one I left this side open and I left this side open. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave them open. I may seal them at the end. Like I said, I always change my mind for everything. But I have 2 pockets here and the pockets in there. So it just depends on me and my day. And then this one is going to look like this one with the spine. I just left the tuck here. This one doesn't have anything here on the side and or on the bottom. So it's like this one. This is a floral one. And floral. Forgive me, guys. Anyways, I already went and Mod Podged it. Now my spine, I go ahead and do my measurements. I'll show you with this one real quick. Since this is the inside, this is a half. Well, first of all, I use one of these rulers, and it's the one that has to find your center. This should be fine already. So I usually find my center. Oops, 0. So there's my center. And I grab a pen here, and then I decide where I'm going to do my holes. Go over here because I'm not sure if I'm in frame. So I'm gonna say, I want my hole. Well, this is the center. Just to find my center. Okay. So then I got my center. So then since it's 8 inches long, so I gotta be at my 4 and 4 inch over here. So that gives me my center. Right there. Okay, that's my center. So now that I know where my center is, then I go and decide where I'm gonna want the signatures. So I'm gonna go there. Forgive me if I don't make sense, guys, but in my head I do. And now I'm sounding like a crazy lady. And I usually do, you know, the center, and then I'll do the 3 inch. That's where I do my. And so now it looks like I'm doing so many marks, but is it this one? Okay, so that's how I do my holes. I just find the center. And actually, I'm going to move this one. I think this one's way too much over there. See, it never happens. It's always boom, 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 and I'm on video and everything gets screwed up. Anyways, that's done. So then now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the. And what I do is I just put a little bit at a time. I don't, you know, pour it. I have done it that way, and I just find it easy to go a little bit at a time because sometimes I end up putting too much, and it's kind of hard to take it off. So just, you know, you put a nice coat. Doesn't have to be too heavy, but then not too light. So you want to make sure you get the edges as well. And it doesn't take a lot to dry, but I do like to leave it for like a day to make sure it's nice and dry, because when I notice that, you know, it dried a couple hours, I start using it, but it's sticky because it's not completely dried all the way. So leave it overnight, and in the morning it's done. So for video purposes, I'll probably end up using another cover, since I have a bunch of them, to continue part 2, because for this first tutorial I just want to do the, you know, how I prep and prepare my cover. The next video will be sewing in the signatures. Okay, I think we're good. And I always kind of like to go through, make sure I didn't miss a spot. And I don't know if I missed it here, but it looks like I did. It's up real quick. What I need to do is turn on my other light to see better. See, if there's light, you can see. God knows I'm blind. So, let's see. Okay, we're good there, and I think we're good here. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna let this sit. Probably mess with it till tomorrow. So, my next video will be putting the signatures, but I'll probably put it in another one because this is gonna be still a little wet. Oh, maybe I'll just use a heat gun and do it that way. But anyways, that's it for the cover for now, for this tutorial. Some people will put Mod Podge on the inside. I don't. I just only put it on, I need to put more glue here. I just only put it on the outside. But this is it for this tutorial. So my next tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and put the signatures inside. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.